All right, so welcome back to your mat, everyone. Today I'm going to guide you through a sort of slow-paced yoga flow class, and we will incorporate some twisting, and also we'll do a little bit of work to help those of you who have sciatica issues. We'll do some things to help sort of alleviate sciatica, some things you can do, just incorporate into sort of everyday sorts of exercise to help strengthen the muscles associated with also the psoas. So we'll do some sort of strength building things to help stabilize the spine and the core cylinder, and also incorporate some twisting. So if you have blocks handy, we will use blocks. If you don't have a block handy, you can, use anything around the house to help bring the floor up a little bit, or anything you can, even a small ball that you can squeeze between the thighs, or the lower legs. And then if you have a belt or a strap, even just a regular belt, that you can sort of adjust the diameter of the loop in a little bit, we'll use that as well. So let's get started, and I'll meet you on your mat. Maybe turn on some music. And we'll start today just in a seated position. So if you do have a block, you can take the block under your sit bones. Maybe draw the knees together. So sitting in this sort of supported hero's pose, if that's comfortable. If this is not comfortable, you can always take an easy seat coming into Sukhasana and just take the legs crossed. And we'll just begin to draw the eyes to close. Just begin to notice the breath. Just beginning to shift the awareness of your focus from everything going on around you externally to what's going on internally in the body. So drawing our mind's eye to the breath can help us focus when we begin to lose our focus throughout practice. As the mind begins to wander, just simply come back to the breath. Just noticing the rise and fall of the chest, the abdomen as you breathe in and breathe out. Then maybe begin to notice some of the sensations in the body as your sit bones root down. And maybe more specifically, begin to focus on your posture. So notice where your weight is distributed beneath your sit bones. Maybe begin to slowly shift your weight forward just a little bit. Very small movement here. And then draw your movement back. Draw your weight back above the shoulders. And then take your body and shift it backward just a little bit. And as you begin to kind of lean back, notice the engagement of the abdominal muscles. And then float yourself back up to center. Maybe lean forward slightly one more time. And then see if you can find somewhere in between those two extremes, where your sit bones are grounding straight down. Maybe roll the shoulders down your back, pull your shoulders away from your ears, Maybe tuck the chin slightly. Draw the belly in. Reach the crown of the head high toward the ceiling. Sitting up nice and tall. Abdomen sort of tight here. And you'll take a big breath in through your nose. Fill up your lungs completely. Pause at the top of the inhalation. And then open your mouth and exhale all your air out. One more time. Breathe in. Open the mouth and let it all go. And then seal the lips, but keep your teeth separated from one another. And begin to tap into that ujjayi breath with that slight constriction in the back of the throat, making your inhalation and exhalation somewhat audible, maybe the sound of an ocean wave. Tapping into this audible breath, but doing so without too much effort. Doing so without being forceful. And begin to flicker the eyes open. Inhale, the arms reach up high. Palms touch here. And then exhale, draw your right hand down to your mat, fingertips down. And then take a side bend stretch over to the right. Inhale, come back through center, reach the arms high. Exhale, side bend over to the left. Dropping that left fingertips down to your mat. Really rooting evenly through both hip bones here, or sit bones. Noticing if that right sit bone is beginning to lift, can you press back into your seat? Inhale back up through center. Interlace the hands above the head. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Take a big breath in. And then go ahead and press your palms front and center. And then from here, take a little cat in the back. So drop the chin toward the chest. Round the spine. And then inhale. Lift up, open the collarbone. Maybe thrust the ribs forward a little bit and send the tailbone back, coming into sort of a cow position in a seated way. Exhale, round the spine, draw the palms forward. Inhale and lift. Exhale and curl it all in. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands come back down to the sides. From here, take your left hand to the outside of your right knee and thigh, and your right hand just fingertips back behind that right foot. Maybe just take an easy twist over to the right. If it's okay on the neck, you can take your gaze toward the back of the room. Sitting up nice and tall, take a big breath in. Exhale, maybe you twist slightly more. Inhaling, coming back through center. And then you switch sides. Right hand comes to the outside of that left knee, left fingertips behind you. And just take a really nice, easy twist over to the left. Being mindful as you move through your asana practice, moving through the poses, to try to create length as you breathe in, and find space or release as you exhale out. Come back through center. If your hips are raised up on a block or a cushion or a pillow or something, you can remove your prop. And then we'll just come to tabletop pose. So spread the fingers wide. Press really firm through the fingertips, especially through the knuckle of the index finger and the thumb. Keep a slight little softness into the elbows as you turn the elbow creases toward the front of the room. Shoulders are stacked over wrists, hips stacked over knees. And then from here, we'll tuck the toes and then just hover the knees off the mat about an inch. And then from this position with the knees hovering, pull the belly in. And on your inhale, we'll take a hovering tabletop cow pose. So breath in, lift the head and the chin and chest, opening through the collarbone, lift the seat up. Exhale, cat pose, knees are lifted. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat pose. Really lighting up those muscles in the thighs and the core. Last round through. Inhale. Exhale and round. Go ahead and place the knees down. Take a little break here. Maybe sway the hips side to side. And when you're ready, we'll tuck the toes, keeping a nice big bend in the knees to start, making your way to downward facing dog. So from here, again, keeping the fingers spread wide and the weight in the fingertips and the knuckles of that index finger and thumb. Open up the collarbone, tuck the ribs in, and then maybe begin to pedal out your dog here. So bending into the right knee and then the left. Finding a little bit of movement. Just working out the kinks in that first downward facing dog. Sending the sit bones nice and high. And so don't worry so much about drawing the heels down to the ground, but instead focus on lifting the hips and stretching nice and long through the sides of the rib cage. And then find a little stillness here. Take a big breath in. Exhale and stay. Really light up the outsides of those hips and thighs by isometrically focusing on sort of, imagine that you're ripping your mat in half with your feet. So downward facing dog is always your home base. You can always come back to this pose. You can come here to rest and resettle and reground, recenter, or you can always take child's pose. So from here, we'll rise up on the toes, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step up to the front of your mat. Uttanasana, forward fold here. So again, maybe keeping a big bend in the knees. Let the head hang heavy, lift the toes, and then place them back down. And again, find your center. So balancing your weight in the middle, somewhere between the balls of your feet and your heels. Stacking the hips over the knees and ankles. And then on your next breath in, draw your palms to your thighs, pull your elbows toward the back of the room as you inhale and lift up halfway. Nice long neck. And then you exhale and fold forward over your legs. Inhale, roll up to stand. Big breath in as you reach up and out toward the ceiling. And your exhale takes you forward over your legs, folding over. Inhale, flatten the back so palms can come to thighs, shins, blocks, your floor. And you exhale and fold forward, releasing over the thighs. Inhale, root the feet down, reach up and out, all the way up to stand. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine, just beginning to warm up with these half sun A's. Fold forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One last time. Inhale, reach high. Exhale and fold and release over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root down, rise all the way up to stand. Palms touch. Exhale, hands through heart center. Coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. So draw your arms along the side body, palms facing forward. Again, stacking the shoulders over the hips, hips over the knees, knees over the ankles. Light up all the muscles in the legs, so pull the kneecaps up. Squeeze the glutes in the butt. Draw your belly in. Roll the shoulders down and back. And then give some energy through the fingertips. Light up the arms. Make this a really active posture. Take a big breath here. Stay for the exhale. Then we inhale, reach up and out as we reach all the way up. Exhale and you surrender as you float over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank pose. So again, draw the ribs in. And then look back and position your heels so that they're over the balls of your feet. Squeeze the legs, squeeze the glutes. Maybe roll the creases of those elbows forward, opening up through the collarbone. Take a big breath in here. Stay for the exhale. One more big breath in. And then exhale, lower the knees down, knowing you can always lower the knees down as we make our way through these vinyasa flows. And then we'll draw the elbows toward the back of the room, lowering down all the way to the mat. Untuck the toes. Press the feet firmly into the mat. Lift the kneecaps off the mat. Press the pelvic bone, the pelvis into the mat a little. Hands plant near the rib cage, but keep the weight in the hands very light. And then you inhale, lift the head and chest, cobra pose. Exhale, lower down. Inhale and lift up. Bhujangasana. Exhale, stay. Inhale and lift. Exhale, fold. This time come to your fingertips. Take your fingers nice and wide off the mat. Inhale and lift up. Exhale, lower down. This time hover the palms. Press into the tops of the feet one last time. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, plant the hands down. Make your way through tabletop or child's pose. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Open your mouth, let it go. Inhale, rise up on the toes. Bend your knees and step to the front of your mat. Fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lift halfway. Exhale and you fold. Inhale, root down, rise all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands. The right toes go to the back of the mat, coming into a low lunge. Drop the right knee. Find some stability in the lower body first, and then inhale, lift up, crane pose, Anjaneyasana. So lots of variations here. You can keep the hips stacked over the knee, And imagine pulling that left hip crease toward the back of the room. And your knee is over your ankle on the left foot. And imagine dragging that left heel toward the back of the mat as you drag your right knee forward. From here, you can stay, or if you want a little bit more stretch in that right hip flexor, that right quadricep, you can lean the hips into this a little bit more, keeping a little ignited energy and muscle contraction in the glutes to protect the low back. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, open arm twist. Right fingers go to the front of the room, left fingers to the back. Squeeze the inner thighs together, twisting over to the left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, plant the hands, tuck the toes, come back into that low lunge. And from here, you can plant the right hand on your mat. If you have a block, you can place the block down, plant the right hand on your block, and peel the left fingers toward the ceiling, coming into a dragonfly twist. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Energy in the right leg. Tuck the ribs in. And on your exhale, plant the left hand down. Remove your block and take your right foot up to meet your left. Fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root down, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine, draw the crown of the head forward, and on your exhale, plant the hands down, left toes step to the back of your mat, drop the left knee, find your base, tuck your ribs in here, get strong in the low body, and you lift up. Crane pose. Take a big breath in. Exhale, open arm twist to the right. Left fingers go forward, right fingers go back. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Inhale, back up to center. Exhale, plant the hands down, tuck the toes. Low lunge on the right. Left hand to the mat or to a block. And you peel the right arm up, fingers reaching toward the ceiling, squeezing those inner thighs together. Finding energy, shoulder blades squeezing. Body's working the whole time here. All your muscles are engaged. Exhale, right hand plants. Set your block aside, and you draw your right foot back, high plank pose. From here, we'll go through a vinyasa flow. Remember, you can always bring the knees down. You can always take a cobra or an up dog or a locust pose, whatever feels right for you and your body. So from here, if you're ready to take your upward facing dog, you'll lower halfway down. Shoulders are above the hips here. Inhale, upward facing dog. Stay here for just a moment. Take a big breath in. So you're pressing into the palms of the hands. The thighs and knees are lifted off the mat. So you're only touching the mat with the tops of the feet and the palms of the hands. Turn your head, look over the right shoulder. Back through center. Gaze over the left shoulder. Back to center. Lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Remember, you can always skip that flow, skip the chaturanga, and just meet in downward facing dog. From here, we inhale, rise up on the toes, look between the hands, bend your knees, And step to the front of the mat, folding over your legs. Inhale, we're coming into chair pose, so send the hips down and back. Maybe graze the fingertips along your mat first. Keep the lower body right where it is, squeezing in the hamstrings, in the butt. And then inhale, lift the hands in the chest. Utkatasana. Really keeping some contraction in the backside of the body. You can always bring the hands to heart center if your shoulders are tired, or you can cactus the arms. Take a big breath in here. Exhale out. One more big breath in. Exhale, sink the hips a little bit deeper. Last time, take a breath in. Exhale and fold forward over your legs. Release them, shake them out. Maybe turn the head right and left. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back, high plank pose. Again, from here you can lower the knees. You can lower halfway or all the way down and take a back bend of choice and meet us in downward facing dog. So from here, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Take a big breath in. Open the mouth, let it all go. From here we inhale, the right leg lifts, keeping the shoulders square to the mat, really pushing firmly into those fingers. Flex the right foot, send the heel toward the back wall. Take a big breath in. Exhale, rise up high on the left toes. Draw that right knee towards your nose. Round the spine. Really scoop out the belly, creating some space for your foot to land between your hands. From here, you can heel toe the feet out a little bit wider. Shoulders distance, hips distance. And then from here, inhale, rise up, crescent warrior. So if you have pinching in the low back here, bend the back knee. And remember to take those ribs and draw them in. Take a big breath in. Exhale, open arm twist over to the right. Breathe in here. Exhale, right hand comes to the left thigh. Left hand reaches up and back, challenging the balance, opening up through the left side body. And then on an exhale, we cartwheel the hands down and we step back, downward facing dog. Repeat on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg high, coming into three-legged dog. Exhale, rise up on the toes of the right foot. Draw that knee into your nose. Making some space, step the left foot between the hands. Separate the feet from left to right on your mat a little bit here. Find a solid base first, and then inhale and lift up. Crescent warrior. Take a big breath in. Exhale, open arm twist to the left, squeezing the thighs together here. Take a big breath in. Exhale and reverse this. So right arm reaches up toward the ceiling. Left fingers come to the right thigh. And we open this up and stretch through the right side body. Big breath here. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Plant them and step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes. Bend your knees, take your gaze between your hands, and either step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, root down, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale takes you folding over your legs. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands back. High plank pose. And you can stay here for a breath or two and then just meet us in downward facing dog. Or you can go through a vinyasa flow, lowering halfway or all the way, taking a back bend of choice, downward facing dog. From here, we'll inhale the right leg high. Exhale, draw your knee to your nose. Scoop out that belly, step the right foot between the hands. And again, we'll rise up again, crescent warrior. Really nice. Coming high on the ball of the back foot, right knee stacked over that right ankle. You can take your thumb into your right hip crease and pull back a little bit here. So draw that right hip back, really squaring the hips forward. Inhale, reach up, maybe take a small back bend. Exhale, hands to heart center. And from here, we're going to hinge the torso forward. So really coming into all of the weight into that right leg. And then we'll begin to twist over to the right. And then you'll take your left elbow, maybe reaches to the outside of that right knee or thigh, pressing the palms of the hands together, keeping energy in that long line from your toes to the crown of your head. Breathe here. If this is too much, you can always bring this back up to your standing twist. Maybe you spread your wings. And then from here, we're going to keep the upper body in the twist and come into a twisted chair pose. So maybe hop that back foot up just a little bit. And we're going to bring the left foot to meet the right, keeping the hips sitting down and back. Take your gaze down towards your mat, and then bring the legs together. Sit the hips down. Take one more big breath in. Exhale out. Inhale, reach all the way up to stand. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, plant your hands down. Make your way to your plank pose. Going through either a flow or just meeting back in downward facing dog. And we'll take that sequence of twists on the left side. So inhale the left leg high. And then on an exhale, rise up on the right toes, draw that knee to your nose, plant the left foot down. Really nice. Rise up, crescent warrior. I'm going to turn around so you can see me better on this side. So again, stacking shoulders over hips, draw that left hip back, and you can keep a little bend in the back knee if that feels better on the low back. Inhale your arms high. Opening up to a twist on the left. Alternatively, you can draw the hands to heart center. Begin to take the torso over the left thigh. So coming into this thunderbolt lunge where you have a long line from the crown of your head, straight out of the toes of that right foot. And then you begin to twist over to the left. Right elbow lands on the outside of that left thigh. Palms are pressing together. And we breathe here. Then begin to take your gaze back down towards your mat. Maybe pop your right foot up a little bit as we come into that twisted chair pose. Right foot meets the left. Keep the bind, keep the twist. Take a big breath in here. Exhale out. And then inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, fold over your legs. And then go ahead and heel toe your feet out a little wider than hips distance. Maybe keeping a nice bend in the knees. And we'll come into gorilla pose here. So you'll take your palm underneath of your right foot. So the back of your hand is on your mat and you're sort of massaging the inside of the wrist with your big toes. Same thing on the other side. So you're stepping onto the palms of your hands. And I like to sort of use my toes to massage my wrists, keeping a nice bend in the knees. Take a big breath in, maybe lengthen the spine out here. And then exhale, draw your elbows out to the sides of the room. Let your head fall heavy. And then if it's in your practice, you might begin to straighten the legs. Take one more big breath here. And then exhale, go ahead and remove your hands from under your feet. Heel toe the feet back together. Coming into that halfway lift or spine extension on the inhale. And then exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, reach down, rise all the way up to stand. Catch the left wrist and side bend over to the right. Inhale back through center. Switch your grip, grab the right wrist, bend over to the left. Really pressing firmly and evenly into the feet. Back through center. Inhale, maybe take the gaze up, and then you exhale and you flow over your legs. Inhale and lengthen out. Exhale, plant the hands down. Coming back, high plank pose. We're here for 3 breaths. You can always lower the knees down. Take one big breath in and out. 2 more like that. Exhale, lower the knees down. Coming into child's pose. So open the knees wide if that feels good. Send the hips back towards your heels. Maybe rest your forehead on the mat. Then if your shoulders are feeling tight, you can reach the arms behind you, maybe grab onto the heels. Maybe massage that third eye center. Coming back to the breath. And from here, we'll press up, downward facing dog. Inhale, rise up on your toes, bend your knees, make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, root down to rise up, reach out and up. And then exhale, your hands come to heart center. We'll work with some balancing. We're going to take Garudasana, eagle pose. So we'll begin coming into chair. So just having the hands here at heart center. Go ahead and sit those hips down and back. Yeah, see if you can pick the toes up and then place them back down. And then we're going to shift the weight into the left leg. Right leg crosses over left. And you can just take the right toes and rest them here on the mat with the hips seated back. Or alternatively, you can stay here, or you can take the right leg and wrap it all the way around the left. So right leg is over, right arm wraps under. You can either just hug yourself here if your shoulders are tight, or you can wrap the arms, bringing the palms together. Find your drishti, find a focal point about 6 feet or so out in front of you that you can gaze at, something that's not moving. And then pull those knees toward the midline. And breathe here. Maybe you lift the elbows and pull the hands away from the face if you're bound in the upper body. Take a big breath in. And then exhale out. One more big breath in. And then slowly begin to unwind. Inhale the arms high. Hands back to heart center. And we'll try it on the other side. And maybe your two sides are completely different from one another. So just notice. Notice how it feels in your body. Notice where you need to make adjustments that work for you. Sit the hips down and back, coming into chair pose first. So the lower you sink the hips down, the easier it is to sort of wrap the legs and keep that balance and stability. This time left leg comes over and you can just stay here using those left toes as a little kickstand, or you can begin to wrap all the way around. This time the left arm's going to go under. And again, you can always just reach for the opposite shoulder and stay here. Take a big breath in. Notice if you can lengthen through the sides of the body. Exhale, sink deeper. Pulling those knees toward the middle. One more big breath in. And out. Breathe in here. And then exhale, begin to unwind. Reach the arms high on a breath in. Exhale, hands back through heart center. Really nice. Shake it out here. Go ahead and take your feet wide on the mat. Turn the toes out, the heels in. And then we'll just sink the hips down, coming into a goddess squat here. So you can use the elbows to press the hips open. And then if this is uncomfortable for you, or if you need a little extra support, you can always place a block and just go ahead and sit on the block. So drop the hips down to a block, opening up the chest, lifting the chest high, squeezing the belly in, and then just opening up the hips a little here. If you want a little more power in the pose, notice if you're sinking in, can you lift up about an inch or so? You might lift the arms. One more big breath in. And then exhale, plant your hands, send your hips up. Fold over your legs. Turn your toes to the front of the room. And then if you have a block handy, you can place it right under your face, or you can just plant the palm onto the floor. We'll take a bend in the left knee, plant the left hand under your face, under the shoulder, and peel the right fingers up for a nice twist over to the right. Stretching a little through the inner thigh. Come back to center. Switch hands, right hand plants, right knee bends, and you lift the left fingers. If it's okay on the neck, you could take the gaze up. And plant the hand down. Heel toe the feet back together. And then we're just going to come to a seat on our mat. And we're going to start, we'll do a little bit of work to help with sciatica and help strengthening some of these stabilizing muscles, stabilizing the psoas a little bit. So we'll come into this 90-90 seat. So you'll take your left foot and sort of bend it in towards your right thigh. And then if it's okay on the knee, you go ahead and bend the right knee so that you're sitting essentially with both limbs at about a 90-degree angle with the knee, right? So you have one foot sort of turned inward, one turned outward. And you can always bring the sole of the foot in closer to the right thigh if that feels a little bit better. And then you'll take your fingers sort of at a 45-degree angle, supporting yourself on your fingertips here. And it's okay in this position if your right hip's going to come off of the mat. It's going to lift a little bit. And from this position, you're going to keep your right knee in contact with the mat as you really slightly lift the right foot. And it's probably only going to lift about a half an inch or an inch or so off the floor. So you're going to take a breath in and lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift that right foot up. Exhale down. The knee is staying planted here. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up the right. Exhale, lower down. One last time. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lower down. Very subtle, subtle movement. And then from here, we'll roll onto our belly. Just coming into Sphinx pose for a moment here. So propped up on your forearms. Shoulders are stacked over elbows. Palms are just planted nice and flat. You can take the feet wide here. Pressing into the tops of the feet. Maybe tuck those low ribs in a little bit so the belly button lifts off the mat, pressing into the forearms. Take a big breath here. And then exhale, you're going to roll onto your left side. And so you'll stay propped up on the forearm. Your support is under the left hip here. And then from here, you can go ahead and take the knees and bend them, stack the legs, bend the knees at about 90 degrees or so. Again, we're going to keep the two sets of our knees planted in contact with one another. And again, we inhale and just lift the foot up and lower down. Lift, right foot lifts, lower down. 3, 4, 5, 6. The knee stays planted along this, up against the left knee. 2 more here. Really nice. Lower that right foot down. Now you're going to lift both feet off the ground. Knees stay planted on the mat. So you inhale and lift. Lower down. And notice if you're caving down into your shoulder. Press out of this. Create space between your left shoulder and your left ear. So hold yourself upright. Lift and lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Really nice. Coming back up to a seat. We're going to do this whole sequence again on the other side. So take that 90-90 seated position. The right foot comes in toward the left thigh. Left foot goes out behind you. Left hip is off of the mat. And then again, you'll take your fingertips out in front of you and to the right a little bit to support the body. Left knee stays planted on the mat as we lift the left foot and lower down. 2 and lower. 3 and lower. Remembering to breathe. 4. Lift and lower. Lift. Very subtle movement. It's just a very small lift and lower. 2 more. Lift up, lower down, lift up, and lower down. Again, we'll come back to that Sphinx pose, rolling onto the belly, pressing into the forearms. And again, tuck those low ribs just a little here so that your belly button pushes away from the mat. Staying very active, take a big breath in. And then exhale, we're coming over onto the right side, propping yourself up on the right forearm. Left hand can just support you out in front of the belly. Knees are going to bend at a right angle. And we keep our knees sewn together as the top leg, the left leg, lifts the foot and lowers down. Again, knees are sewn together. 3 and lower. 4, lower down. 5, lower down. 6. And again, don't sink into that elbow or that shoulder, but press out of it. 7, 8. One last time, lift and lower. Lift and lower. This time, both feet lift. Knees stay planted and lower down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So all of those little movements are really good at helping to sort of stabilize and work to build some strength and stability in some of those hip stabilizing muscles, the psoas, which attaches the lower spine to the sacral area. So from here, we'll do a couple of things that sometimes are really good for those of you that might suffer from sciatica. So if you have a belt, even if you don't have a yoga strap, if you have an actual belt that you can sort of buckle off so that you have sort of this circular thing, you will put your feet through the belt, and you want to tighten the belt in such a way so that, I should face this way so you can see. So the belt will be placed right around the thighs, just above the knees, and you want it about hips distance or so. So you don't want to have it too wide, right? And you don't want to have it too narrow. You want to be about hips distance. So securing a belt or a strap that allows you to apply outward pressure and keeps the belt nice and taut, and does so at about hips distance or so. And so we can just roll down onto the back. I'm going to keep onto my forearms, but you can lay all the way back down onto your back. And so keeping the feet planted on the mat with your belt looped around the thighs, you're just going to take a big breath in. And then exhale, begin to try to press outward up against the belt. Hold that there. Keep pressing and pressing and pressing. Take a big breath in. Keep pressing. Exhale out. 2 more breaths. Keep pressing out. Breath in and out. Keep pressing out. 1 more time. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Press the thighs out, out, out against the strap or the belt. And release. Go ahead and take the knees in. Take the feet wide. Take a little rest here. Maybe windshield wiper the legs a little bit. We're going to do that 1 more time. So your belt is tight around the thighs at about hips distance. Point your knees straight up to the ceiling. Plant the feet. Take a big breath in. Exhale and send those thighs outward. So you're pressing out against the strap, against the belt on both sides, squeezing here. Maybe take a little bit of posterior tilt of the pelvis, so maybe press the small of the back into the mat a little bit here, and you maintain the pressing outward. 2 more big breaths. Press, 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 press. It should be burning now. 1 more big breath in. And let go. Release. Go ahead and take your strap and set it aside. That's a really good exercise for psoas muscles. We'll do a couple of more. If you have a block handy, you're going to just take the block in between the thighs, however feels best for you. So you can just take this so that it's, you know, between the thighs, maybe the long edge, so that you have a lot of surface area here to press against. And this time, we're going to do the exact opposite as we just did with the strap. So instead of pressing out, you're going to press your legs in and squeeze that block as tight as you can. Take a big breath in. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep squeezing the thighs together. Hold this here. Breathing in and out. Keep squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. Another breath in. Exhale out. Last one, breath in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as you exhale. And then go ahead and release. Go ahead and take the feet wide. Just windshield wiper the knees back and forth. We're going to set up and do that one more time. Okay, position yourself again. Grab your block or your prop. You could use a pillow. You could use an exercise ball. Anything here to put between the thighs. Feet are planted nice and straight, toes pointing forward, knees pointing up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, squeeze your block. Squeeze those thighs together and hold. We're going to be here 5 breaths. Squeeze it in. Keep squeezing. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. 2 more. Last breath. Give it your all. Squeeze those muscles. Squeeze that block. And release. All right. Wiggle that out a little bit. We'll take one last little thing here to sort of help work the psoas muscles a little bit in the low back. Go ahead and take your legs up to a tabletop position on your back, essentially. Right? So try to keep your shins parallel. So you want to take your palms of your hands to the thighs, just right above the knees. Keep some flexion in the feet. And you might need to press the small of your back into your mat just a little bit. And you're going to take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, you're going to press your palms into your thighs and press your thighs back into the palms of your hands. So press, 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 press. Keep breathing through this as you're pressing with the palms of the hands and pressing back with the thighs. One more time. And release down. Take a little break here. Maybe take the soles of the feet together and let the legs flop open. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. And then go ahead and close those knees like the pages of a book. Set up one more time here. We're going to repeat All right, so tabletop on your back, palms into your knees. Big breath in. Exhale and push. Push into the thighs. Push back into the hands with the thighs. This really lights up the abdominal muscles too. Really press. You're probably shaking. Take one more big breath in. And release out. Really nice. Take your arms up overhead. Stretch your legs out nice and long. Take a full body stretch. Maybe circle the wrists and ankles. Really nice. From here, plant the feet and you can lift the hips up a little bit and shift them over to the left, and then just drop your knees over to the right. Arms can come out to a T, taking your gaze over that left shoulder. Easy supine twist. Come back through center. Shift the hips over to the right. Drop your knees over to the left. Take your gaze over to the right if it's okay on the neck. Otherwise, just look up toward the ceiling. Just taking a little bit of a twist here. Really nice. And then coming back through center. Just stay on your backs. You can plant the left foot, and we'll just begin to lift the right leg up. You can grab behind the thigh or behind the calf or the foot. If you still have your belt or strap handy, you can even take the strap to the underside of your foot. We're just stretching out through that hamstring a little bit. So take a breath in. Exhale out. Finding some length in the spine as you breathe in. And then just sending that exhalation to anywhere you feel tightness. Anywhere you feel stuck. And then from here, you can, if you're using a strap, you can grab the strap into the right hand. And then we'll just open this up over to the right. Trying to keep that left hip planted, so maybe you don't drop the right leg down all the way. You can keep a nice bend in that right knee as well. And then come back up through center. And then take your toes and point them off to the left, and then maybe begin to draw the right toes over to the left. Just feeling a stretch in this outer hip. Drawing your awareness to your hips, trying to keep them evenly planted into the mat. Come back through center. Go ahead and release the right leg down. Plant that right foot, but then inhale that left leg up. And again, you can just take the hands behind the thigh or the calf, or you can use your strap. Just notice where you can find some softness, a little bit of release here. And then we'll go ahead and open this up over to the left. Just drawing that left leg out to the left. Again, but maintaining that right hip on the mat. Then coming back up to center, point those left toes over to the right, and then just begin to draw that right leg across the body, or I'm sorry, the left leg across the body over to the right. Breathing here. And coming back up through center. And then just pulling the knees into the chest, maybe circling the knees. And then before we hit our final resting pose, we'll just grab onto the outsides of the feet, or you can grab behind the thighs. I'm going to draw the knees in toward the armpits. And then if your tailbone's in the room, taking happy baby, maybe you rock side to side, give yourself a little low back massage. Take a big breath in. Exhale out. Now we'll go ahead and slowly lower the legs down. And then we'll just meet in our final resting pose. Taking up as much space as you like on the mat. Take the feet out wide, the legs out long. Just let the feet flop open. Same with the arms. Draw your eyes to close. Shavasana. Just rewarding yourself for showing up on your mat to practice today. Releasing all of the control of the breath. Just let the focus go, let the mind wander. Let all of the muscles in the body relax. Completely surrendering into your mat. You can stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. Or if you're ready to complete your practice, you can begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe turn the head right to left. Just bringing some awareness back. Then you can hug the knees in and roll over to one side, taking a fetal position and just pausing for a moment before you come up to a seat. Pausing with gratitude for yourself, pause for gratitude for the practice. And then when you're ready, press yourself up to a comfortable seat. You can keep the eyes closed or take a soft gaze toward the floor. We'll draw our hands to heart center. The light, love, and peace in me sees each of these traits in each one of you. I thank you all so much for taking time out to join me in this video. drawing our thumb knuckles to our third eye. We seal in our practice and our gratitude. Bowing together, we say Namaste. All right, thanks everyone for joining me today. Take good care. Those small little subtle movements we did might give you a little bit of soreness, so I would say drink a lot of water over the next 24 hours or so, and I'll see you back on your mat soon.